Hey G-Fans, GoGFan93 here, and welcome to another Kaiju discussion video. In today's video, we will be talking about Bagan. Bagan, oh Bagan. Well, so this Kaiju, a lot of fans know about, well, pretty much every Godzilla fan knows about this monster. But the thing is that's interesting about this monster is that he's never been in a Godzilla film. I mean, he is a Godzilla character, part of the Godzilla universe, but he's never been in a movie. There's been a couple times where Toho wanted to put him in a movie. That's where he originated from, was Toho wanting to put him as an enemy, but for some reason he just never came about. So pretty much first it started in the Heisei series, and I believe that with my favorite film, Godzilla 1984, Bagan was actually supposed to be Godzilla's enemy in that one, but never happened. And whether or not 1984 would have been a better film or a worse film if it had Bagan in it, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see a 1984 Godzilla where he actually fought another monster, but frankly, I feel that the movie did better if it, just focusing on Godzilla. And besides, he fought the Super X, so I think that kind of counts as some kind of opponent. But yeah, and then after that, I think it was, I believe, sometime with Godzilla, I think Biollante. I believe that Bagan was supposed to be the next enemy in Godzilla vs. Biollante. Instead of using Biollante, they wanted to put Bagan. But I guess, once again, that never happened, and they decided to go with Biollante, which I'm very happy with, because Biollante is a very cool kaiju, and I'm glad that she got in. The last, I think it was the last attempt for Bagan to get into a movie, was in Godzilla vs. Destroya, which kind of makes sense because Godzilla vs. Destroya, if you look at Destroya's design, if you look at the way that he is made, and you compare him to what Bagan looks like, or the many different variations of what Bagan looks like, they kind of share they have some similarities, but not too much. They're both, big monsters. They're both like, really menacing looking, but once again, just never came about. Destroya was the main enemy for Godzilla vs. Destroya, obviously, but Bagan did get his first debut in, we all know, Super Godzilla, the video game on the Super Nintendo. Back in 1993, I believe, is when the game came out, or it was 1994. I don't remember exactly, but I know it was 1993 or 94. And yeah, Bagan was in that as the main villain. He was actually the final boss. You turn into Super Godzilla and you attack Bagan that way. Because otherwise, if you were normal Godzilla, you would get your ass wrecked. And I would know this because when I did my live stream, I'm probably actually showing some gameplay footage of it. I was actually beating Bagan, and but when you start fighting him, you play as Godzilla. You don't play as Super Godzilla, you just play as normal Godzilla, and he's really tough. He's really fast, he's very powerful, but when you turn into Super Godzilla, that's when you can, get back at him and kick his ass. But yeah, so that's pretty much at least my knowledge of Bagan. There's also been some speculation, which I'm going to cut now. Hopefully you guys don't believe this, but it was supposed cut footage from Godzilla Final Wars, and I'll show the footage here, of people thinking that was Bagan. And I'm not sure if Bagan was originally planned to be in Godzilla Final Wars, but that footage right there, it's been speculated that it is Bagan, but it's not Bagan. I feel that it's not. I mean, I've never gotten like concrete evidence that Bagan was planned for Final Wars, and I don't really know who that monster is that you guys are looking at right now, who supposedly was Bagan. The only other iteration, or the only other thing that Bagan was in Godzilla Daikaiju Battle Royale, which is a fan-made game, which, because it's a fan-made game, it doesn't necessarily count. No disrespect to the creator of the game, but it is a fan game, therefore it's not necessarily part of Toho's certification of when it comes to making movies or games or anything like that. So really, Bagan's only been in one video game, and that was Super Godzilla, and that's where he started at. Now this kind of, gets me into the conversation of some fans, and once again, this is kind of the same theory with Godzilla Jr., what I talked about last Kaiju discussion. It seems to be the majority of younger Godzilla fans think that Bagan is the most amazing monster, the most powerful monster, the most like, oh my god, he's such a badass. But once again, I'm kind of on the other boat where I don't understand the hype. I don't get the hype from Bagan. I don't see how he's this, oh my god, look at Bagan kind of character, because all he was in a video game, and I don't count video game characters, like especially video game characters that were made for the game. I don't count those as legit like stats and everything like that. My argument for that, if you ever try and if like, let's say if you're having an argument with me and you bring up the fact that, you know, Mechagodzilla 74 is not that tough because in Godzilla Unleashed he's not, you know, you can take him out with Mothra. That's a video game, guys. I mean, this is something you can't say that a video game character has like the same stats. I need to see it in a movie made by Toho. That's why all the monsters we see today that were made by Toho, like Godzilla characters, that's why we can have discussions on who's tougher, who's this and that, because we've seen them in the movies. But Bagan, there's no concrete evidence, because here's my theory, well, here's my defense, is that let's say you're playing Super Godzilla, right? And let's say you're the best Super Godzilla player ever, okay? And you guys say that Bagan is the most tough enemy, he's really powerful and all this crap. Well, if you're a really skilled player at Super Godzilla, you can kill Bagan in a snap. He would not even be tough for you because you're a really, you know, skilled player. But then again, you could be a really bad player like me with Super Godzilla, and frankly, Bagan can kill you in nothing. So it's not concrete evidence of the stats of Bagan as a kaiju, and that's why I kind of fail to see the hype behind Bagan, because he's a video game character. There's no legit stats for him. I mean, yeah, you could look at the stats that were for him in Super Godzilla, but once again, that's just a video game. That's not, you can't say that he's, you know, tougher than other monsters that were in the film. Therefore, you guys know my argument about Destroya not being the most strongest Godzilla opponent, but because Destroya was in a movie, because I actually saw him and Toho, you know, put that in the movie, I will say that Destroya is tougher than Bagan because Bagan has no entry right now. Bagan has no anything for a Godzilla movie. Until the day when Bagan gets into a Godzilla movie, then we can start speculating on how strong he is. But so far, he's only a video game character. And I'm kind of going to go off a little bit of a side note here that Crystalac and Obsidius from Godzilla Unleashed, these guys are kind of in the same boat. Once again, I'm not big fans of Crystalac and Obsidius. I think I like Crystalac a little bit more than I do Obsidius, because Obsidius to me is the most generic monster ever. I do not care for Obsidius. I feel like his roar is stock. I think his roar is actually the same roar that Gamera had in Gamera the Brave. It's like that stock dinosaur sound. I think even Jurassic Park might have had that, you know, dinosaur sound. But also just the way he looks. If you guys actually look at like just his design, he's like a lava monster, like molten rock and all that stuff. Well, if you guys look at War of the Monsters on the PS2, there's a monster in there. I think his name is Magnarok or something like that. Basically the same character, even though Magnarok is a little bit cooler because, I don't know, he was just a little bit more original than what Obsidius was. Or Obsidian. I don't remember. Is Obsidius or Obsidian? I don't remember. Crystalac, on the other hand, Crystalac is a little bit cooler. His design, I will say, is pretty cool. He's kind of like if Anguirus was a little bit more skinnier and could stand up, and, you know, because he had the spikes on the back. He kind of reminds me of, like, you know, just a different style of Anguirus or something. But still, Crystalac is not, you know, he doesn't really cut it for me still. You know, he's not that, you know, I don't like playing as him in the game. I don't really care for him that much. But I do like him a little bit more than Obsidius. But anyways, back to Bagan. I just wanted to put that out there because I know you guys would comment about the other monsters. So yeah, but Bagan, you know, I feel bad for him as a kaiju because I feel Toho really wanted him to be in a movie, and I really feel that Toho, I mean, the designs that we've been given of Bagan, he looks like he is a cool monster. He does look really cool with the different variations that have been shown. There's, you know, obviously we have the Super Godzilla design, which was his original design. Then we have, there's like, there's this picture, I don't know if it's like I'll post it here, but it's a very popular picture. It's like he has like a gray skin tone, red eyes, kind of like black under armor or something like that. Well, there's you can see it in the picture here. You know, there's that variation, and then I believe the Godzilla Kaiju Battle Royale variation of him is the same design as Super Godzilla. It's just a little bit more cleaned up or something. But yeah, so poor Bagan. There's actually one more point that I also want to make before I end the video. This is actually a big point, and actually a point that I'm glad I kind of waited to do this video when this news came up. But this is actually regarding Godzilla on the PS3, the new game that's going to be coming out December 18th. Bandai Namco came out with an interview when they did the whole Nico Godzilla 60th anniversary live stream thing that sadly I wasn't able to watch because it wasn't available in my region, even though I really wanted to watch it. But they did state that if this game does well, they want to make a sequel to Godzilla PS3 and hopefully include Bagan, because they actually know about Super Godzilla. Bandai Namco, they came out, they stated that they liked Super Godzilla and that they liked Bagan. So they would love to have Bagan in their next Godzilla game, if there is a next Godzilla game. This isn't confirmed, this isn't anything, it's just Bandai Namco saying if this Godzilla game is successful, they would like to incorporate Bagan into future installments or into a fighting game that they want to make or whatever thing like that. So that's another point that, you know, keep in mind that Bagan might get another entry into another Godzilla game, which I'm all for. I mean, I'm perfectly fine. I mean, you know, some of you guys might think that I hate Bagan. I don't. Obsidious is the monster I really don't care for. But Bagan, he is a cool monster for what he is. I would just love to see him in a movie. And that leads me into the next point. Will Bagan ever get into a Godzilla movie? Will Bagan ever make his movie debut? I don't know. I mean, I would love to see him, because then I can finally acknowledge him as an actual kaiju that you know, has established himself in the Godzilla franchise rather than just be a video game character. You know, but you know, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see what Toho thinks. I mean, I doubt Toho's forgotten about Bagan, and maybe by now, maybe they're trying to figure out, well, how come maybe we can incorporate Bagan? I don't know. The Legendary series, will they consider Bagan? I don't know. I mean, it's, you know, right now they have the trilogy with Rodan, Mothra, and King Ghidorah, so I don't know if they're gonna really, you know, do anything with Bagan. I would aim more for Toho to do something like that. But yeah, so that's pretty much all I got to discuss about Bagan. So he's, you know, I feel bad for him as a monster, but I just don't get the hype around Bagan. I don't understand why a lot of people think he's the most amazing kaiju, because he doesn't necessarily really exist. He only is a video game character in one game and also a fan game. So I don't know. But we'll just have to see the future, you know, what the future holds for the Godzilla franchise as well as other monsters, and maybe Bagan will finally get his debut in a movie sometime in the future. I don't know, but that's all speculating, and yeah, that's pretty much all I got for you guys for this video. So please post in the comments your discussions, and I would love to read them, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay big, G fans.